Well, if you properly understand Adam Smith's most famous work, The Wealth of Nations, it was a tirade against corporate monopolies. I mean, the monopolies of his time were crown corporations that were licensed by the state to colonize the economies of other countries or to dominate particular sectors in the domestic economy. And he was very much against that kind of power. His ideal of the market and of the local entrepreneur, the local artisan, the local farmer, looked much more like a farmer's market than it looked like a global economy monopolized by Goldman Sachs, Monsanto, Walmart, and the other major corporate predators. Now, the thing that's really interesting here is that what we're taught to think of as a global market economy is a capitalist economy, which is an economy that is focused on a concentration of corporate monopoly power, which is acutely anti-market in its very conception, as well as anti-democratic. Because real markets depend on smaller enterprises that are rooted in place. And in terms of speaking of Adam Smith, many people say that the book that he considered most important was his book called The Theory of Moral Sentiments, which was addressing the question of why is it that we as humans have a natural tendency to care about the well-being of our neighbor. And it's very clear, if you look at the bigger picture, that Adam Smith was assuming a market economy comprised of local buyers and sellers who operated within a framework of moral principles, which is a total contrast to our current Wall Street economy, about which I think he would be totally appalled.
Would he be surprised?
I doubt it. But I think the thing that would truly trouble him is that this abomination that is now presented to us as a market economy is also presented to us as the actualization of Adam Smith's ideal, and Adam Smith's writing is used to legitimate it. And I think he would be deeply disturbed by that.
And you say that capitalism poses a direct threat to democracy.
You know, capitalism is basically about rule by people who control the money system and who control economic power. And as you look at the driving force of most of our biggest corporations, it is derived to monopolize control of markets, to monopolize control of resources, to monopolize control of money, so that they can extract monopoly profits, unearned profits that have nothing to do with their contribution to society. That is a fundamentally anti-market concept. You know, it's a foundational market principle that to have a proper, self-regulating, in a sense, market economy, each individual enterprise has to be too small to be able to influence or manipulate the market price. So the whole drive of Wall Street corporations is to overpower the market so that they can control it, so that they can extract unearned profits. Now, at a political level, we also see so clearly that the greater the concentration of economic power, then the greater the control of the people who control that power over our politicians. And of course, it's an interplay, because our elections, the outcome of our elections has come to depend more and more on the messages that go out through corporate media, particularly corporate-owned television. And so the only way that the politicians can get the money that these TV networks charge for their advertising is to get it from the people who have the most money, to get it from the biggest corporations. And so they inevitably become beholden to those corporate interests. So we have a democracy that is best defined as a $1 one vote democracy rather than a one person one vote democracy, which is the only concept of democracy that has any real meaning.